Hey, what's going on guys? JS Cards here coming at you with my updated Sky Striker deck, and I'm super excited to be profiling this for you guys. I've made a lot of changes to this actually since I've last profiled it. Lately I've just been updating decks and testing them and making new profiles on them, and it's been really fun. I revisited Salamangreat as well, and that's another deck I've just been playing a lot on EDO Pro and online. Still not really doing in-person stuff right now, unfortunately. I can't wait for that to hopefully go back to normal soon. But yeah, Sky Striker is another deck that has been around forever. You know, even with the hits on the ban list and stuff, the deck has survived and it's still really good. It's a great control deck. I really like Sky Strikers a lot. So I thought I'd profile it for you guys. We also got some rarity bumps for certain cards, a lot of cards actually since last profile. We're going with some of the secret rare versions now, so let's just jump into this deck profile. Starting off with the Sky Striker monsters, we're playing 3 copies of Ray. Of course, you gotta play Ray, she's our girl here. Yeah, the most important Sky Striker card. For the main deck at least. And then I'm down to 1 copy of Rose. I was playing 2 copies. I know that's kind of where the debate lies with Sky Striker players. Do you play 1 or 2 copies? I saw a build playing 3 copies of Rose. I definitely don't think you need 3. I was, really set on 2 copies. I might add the 1 back in just because then that would put us at a 41 card deck, which, I'm not going to get into like the probabilities and the math of, having 41 versus 40. But I also just think if you are good with your resources, plus you can reuse Ray, you can get away with playing 1 copy of Rose. So that's what we're playing for now. That was, the final cut that I made. I decided to cut the other copy of Rose I was playing just to get it down to a 40 card deck. And I haven't really seen any issues so far, but we're still testing. I'm always looking to make this deck better. I want to, have it be one of the best Sky Striker decks. And, hopefully we get engaged back. 1 copy would be nice, but we'll see. And then the rest of the monsters are just hand traps. So I'm playing 3 copies of Phantasme. This card's really good right now. I mean, Dragon Link and stuff like that. Basically anything doing a lot of Link summoning. And then I'm playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom and 3 copies of Nibiru. The hand trap lineup is really the only thing that changes with Sky Strikers. My spell lineup and everything has kind of stayed the same for a while. A few different traps and stuff, but yeah, really the monsters and the spells I don't really change up except for the hand trap lineup of the monsters. It just depends on the format and what the meta is right now. I feel like the hand traps I picked can stop a variety of different things, and it's what I've been playing against the most, it seems like, especially online. Dragon Link, a few different combo decks, things like that. Ash Blossom just stops a bunch of things. And then my side deck, of course, just has other hand traps that I can side in depending on the matchups. So that's what we're playing for the monsters. Pretty short and sweet, but let's move on to the spells. All right, for the spell cards, I'm playing 3 copies of my favorite Sky Striker spell, Widow Anchor. This card's so insane. I love this. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you can target 1 face-up effect monster on the field and negate that face-up monster's effects until the end of the turn. If you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can take control of that instead until the end phase. Really cool. This card's one of my go-tos. I'm also playing 2 copies of Shark Cannon. I was playing 3, but again, in order to slim it down to 40, I cut 1, and really that's been fine. My whole theory with playing like 42 cards, they were mostly spell cards that were pushing me over, was just because, you want at least 3 spells in your grave for some of these effects. But, it worked for a while, but then I realized I'd rather open up certain cards or see cards a little bit quicker. I was drawing lots of multiples of Shark Cannon or other cards like that where you really only want to see 1, maybe 2 copies. or you want to see something else instead. So we slimmed it down to 40. I got some help in the Discord actually, which you guys can check out down below. Feel free to join. And yeah, people in there were helping me make this deck better. So shout out to everyone in the Discord. And then I'm playing 2 copies of Afterburners as well. This card's really cool. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, target one face-up monster on the field and destroy it. And then if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can destroy 1 spell or trap on the field as well. And then after that, we do play 2 copies of the field spell, Area 0. And then for the 1-ofs, we have the 1 multi-roll and the 1 Hornet Drones. I think these Sky Striker spells are the best ones. You don't need Eagle Booster, you don't need Hercules Beetle. You can play those. Those are fun. They're good, but they're not necessary. And yeah, these spells are definitely the ones to play. Now, this is probably where everyone's gonna hate me and dislike the video, but I'm playing 3 copies of Mystic Mine. You know, this card's definitely something. I feel bad for playing it. My opponent feels bad for me playing it, and I just gotta say though, it's all worth it because Hayate Mystic Mine is very dirty, but it also feels so good. So, you know, this could be a card you guys could play just one of, you know, if you just needed a card for stalling. But if you get one of your Sky Striker Link monsters out, you know, especially Hayate, and you just drop a Mystic Mine, and your opponent has like this huge board set up thinking that they're gonna attack for game or whatever, or that they're in control, you can just nope Mystic Mine. I really like it in this deck. This is the only deck that I play it in actually, and I just like being that guy playing 3 copies, but that's just me. Moving on, 3 copies of Pot of Desires. You do play multiples of a lot of different cards, so Pot of Desires is great. It doesn't really hurt this deck. The draw 2 is too good not to play. For some spell and trap card removal for the 2-ofs, we have 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. And then for the 1-ofs, we have Terraforming. We have the Raigeki and Harpy's Feather Duster combo. I really like this combo. I mean, it reminds me of old school, you know, LOB days, or just old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Like that in general, where you had Raigeki for monsters, Harpy's Feather Duster for spells and traps, and it's still good to this day. You know, these are iconic cards. And then we have Reinforcement of the Army, basically to search out your array, and then 1 Upstart Goblin, making this a 39 card deck. Moving on to the trap cards, I only play 1, but I'm playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I do still have strikes in the side deck, however, because Solemn Strike I still think is in a lot of ways better than Impermanence, but I'm just trying to get the best of both worlds with this deck by playing both of them. But you guys can definitely test out different things. You know, you could even play Solemn Strikes along with Impermanence in the main deck and test that out, especially if you aren't going to play Mystic Mine, or if you're only going to play 1 Mystic Mine. You know, those are extra slots right there where you can test out other cards, maybe do you know, a second copy of Rose as well. So this deck, you know, you can definitely test out and adjust things accordingly and have it fit your play style and fit what, you know, you're playing against at locals and stuff, and kind of go from there. So if you guys have any suggestions or want me to test something out, definitely let me know down in the comments. But that is it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. All right, so for the extra deck, it hasn't really changed that much, but I'm playing still 3 copies of Kagari. Love this one so much. I love all the Sky Striker Link monsters. They all have their purpose for the deck. Some more important than others, but they're still worth playing. 3 copies of Shizuku, another, probably my favorite one actually out of all of them. 3 copies of Hayate. Like I said, comboed with Mystic Mine, this card's really good. Plus it is a wind. We'll keep that in mind for one of the cards coming up here. And 1 copy of Kena. I also play the 1 lone copy of Zeke as well. So this is kind of the ratio I've been playing with the most. For a while I was playing 2 Hayate, but then Bird Up and other decks, I mean, you had even like Zoodiac Tri-Brigade. Basically anything playing the barrier statue kind of was scary. And you know, that barrier statue can mess up a lot of different decks. So to kind of help with that, I'm playing the one Win the Wind Charmer. Now, there's a few different reasons for this. This is also a wind monster. It's made with 2 monsters, including a wind monster, and it's also good because Hayate is wind as well. So this card's really cool because you can target one wind monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to a zone that this card points to. So, and with some of your Sky Striker spells where you can like either pop the barrier statue or even take control of the barrier statue, this can just set up for some pretty cool lockdowns, or at least some advantage over your opponent as well, because you could either take their barrier statue or summon it from their graveyard, or take control of their barrier statue if it's out on the field, and then if they have other wind monsters in their graveyard, you can summon, you know, whatever they have and just kind of control the board from there. I think this card's really cool, and I really like it. There's a few different interactions that it has with like those bird up decks or any sort of really Tri-Brigade variant. So definitely test this card out. I'm still, you know, doing testing myself, but I like it so far. And then for the Link 3s, I have the one Nightmare Unicorn and the one Ningirsu. And for our boss monster, I'm playing one Borrelsword Dragon. If I had an access code, I'd probably be playing it over Borrelsword, but Borrelsword is still really good and it's way cheaper. Hopefully we see access code in the tins this year. I think we should, but yeah, you guys can play any sort of Link 4 power monster that you would like. The side deck is still kind of a work in progress, but we do play a variety of different hand traps depending on our matchups. So of course we have the 3 copies of Lancia, 3 copies of Ghost Belle and Haunted Mansion, and I'm also playing 3 copies of Gameciel. Gameciel's great. I mean, just to be able to get over Dragoon, basically any sort of problematic monster. I was actually maining these when the most recent ban list dropped because I felt like everyone was going to be playing Dragoon, and in the beginning they kind of were, but I decided to side these and I replaced them with Phantasme once I saw that Dragon Link was, you know, kind of being played and there was more combo decks happening. So yeah, 3 copies of Gameciel in the side is really great though, just for any sort of problematic monster that you can't target or anything like that. And then I'm playing 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, as well as I mentioned earlier, our 3 copies of Solemn Strike. So there you guys have it. That is my updated Sky Striker deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more. Also, I have transitioned from streaming on Twitch to YouTube. I think YouTube is way better for me, and it's a great way to interact with my subscribers and, you know, have some fun talking and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And other video games. I've actually been playing way more different video games than Yu-Gi-Oh! On stream. But yeah, if you guys want to drop by and say hi sometime while I'm live, definitely feel free to do so. Also, if you guys want to check out different videos that I make, I run 3 other YouTube channels where I make music, I talk about video games, and I talk about movie and TV shows. It's a lot of DC and Marvel stuff. So if you guys want to subscribe and check those out, you can find all of those channels on my channel, JS Cards. You know, I really appreciate the support lately. We're growing this community and I hope it keeps on growing. All of you are awesome, super supportive. Everyone's super nice to myself and each other too, which is really cool to see. And you know, I'm just excited to see where we end up. I'm going to keep doing deck profiles, some openings, reviews. You know, I like to do budget decks too. I like to try to help out new players or returning players, and I like to try to better myself too. So that's why we get into competitive deck profiles and stuff like that too, because I'm definitely not the greatest player. I like playing, you know, I don't take things too seriously, but also sometimes, you know, that competitive side does come out and I like to learn from my misplays, learn from mistakes, try to get better, try to win as much as possible, you know, stuff like that. So it's just been really fun trying to get better at this game, and it's always changing, always getting faster and stuff. So thank you for following me, and hopefully these videos help you guys out as well. So stay tuned for new videos coming soon, and thanks again for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.